Thanks for sticking around. Okay.
That was a different one.
Yep, never seen that message before.
Welcome,
So did you?
welcome.
So yeah, right. So did you see the bell end, Mr. Goldbridge? Was at it again. Literally made a whole segment on Michael Oliver and everything that he gave to City.
So we're commenting now on two teams that played against each other that didn't involve your alleged favorite team
Right, right.
and breaking things down.
Do you think that maybe he was a hall monitor when he was in like
Dude,
elementary school?
one, he was a safety for sure with that yellow belt that was like safety patrol, and you had that on there and were responsible for reporting your students, your fellow classmates. That's
Dude,
100% that dude.
he is a glorified tattletale.
Yes. Not to mention like the hypocrisy of pointing out what
Utter.
he gave City
Yeah,
without mentioning anything that went down with the gifts that Arsenal received. So
right.
go
One
team,
would
bro.
say that he makes bank off of his club being wank in it.
Hmm.
Oh,
Absolutely.
with that one, welcome to the Snobby Boys. All right, everybody, welcome to the Snobby Boy Podcast. I'm your host, Colby. That way. That's my homeboy Joe over there. We have got some Carabao Cup roundup for you tonight. We'll be getting into that in a little bit, but make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell, make sure you smash the like. Do it right now. So Joe, what are we talking about tonight? As I said,
Tonight we will be recapping yesterday's Watford match, advancing 2-1 in the Carabao Cup. We will go over a little bit of City news. There was not a lot to talk
nope.
that just popped up between our Sunday evening show and today in the past 2 days. So just a little bit light news there, and then we'll wrap up with Who's That Baller, our favorite new game, and just kind of shoot the shit a little bit until we decide it's time to wrap up.
I have I have quite a lineup for you tonight, buddy.
Oh boy.
and
Here
and
we
listen,
go.
hey, listen, everybody in the comments, play along with us. It is some fun. So, especially when we get down to the wild card, and I actually made a redemption, uh, like an extra round. So like a redemption if Joe falls behind or if you guys fall behind in the count this evening. So, I have there's going to be some good ones. I'm excited for it.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah,
Glad to
yeah,
hear
yeah.
that. So, like I mentioned, 2-1 win. We all saw the match, I hope. If you're watching and are a City fan, I'm assuming you watched the match.
A lot of people got confused as to where the match might be this week. There wasn't a whole lot of. I don't know if people just didn't remember or if people, didn't catch the memo somewhere along the way. Whatever. Um, it was the Carabao for people in America. Last year it was on ESPN Plus. This year they've shifted it over to Paramount Plus, where Champions League and Europa League is broadcasted here in the States. So that was, I'm sure that threw quite a few people off.
and
I
apparently, across the pond, it went from just being on Sky Sports to Sky
right.
Sports Plus, which is like the paid version, I guess.
Yeah.
So apparently, it was not just stateside for us, but apparently across the pond. And if anybody's over there and listening, watching tonight, let us know if that was the case for y'all. But it was not as smooth of a find just because we're so accustomed to it being on ESPN Plus and just go
Right.
right there and find it. But on the good side, we all pretty much pay for the Paramount Plus because we got to watch the Champions League. So it wasn't like it was an
Correct.
additional, new service we had to go find last minute. It was one we already had. And on that topic, Paramount has done a much better job over the last, I would say, 6 months of their product not being so glitchy and
Oh,
wonky.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't feel the same.
On my
I
end,
do.
at least, it's gotten better with the quality of viewing, so I'm pleased. But I'm sure it's not the case everywhere because Paramount's not the best streaming app in the world. So
It's
the fact that
it's not.
Champions League is always on that kind of stinks.
Well, and especially when we get towards, the end of the tournament and more people are viewing one match, it gets worse
Yes.
and worse and worse. And for somebody like me, for someone like you, it's a little bit different because I feel like once you get closer to city centers or and more in metropolitan areas, the internet service is a little bit better. Where someone like me out in the rural is,
Spotty.
it's not all, it's spotty sometimes. Yeah, like I'll start off a match pretty good, like no buffering, nothing. And then maybe about the 10th to 20th minute, it will stop and it will take about 30 seconds to refresh, and then I'm 30 seconds behind. So then I have
Wow.
to push forward. I end up having most of the time I have to go back and rewatch some of the stuff just in case I miss like a little detail.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I have not been a massive fan of Paramount's platform. Uh when it pertains to Champions League, I mean, for the rest of the content that's on there, I'm okay with it because
Yeah.
they've got
It's
some
the live
action.
sport. Yeah, it's the
They got
live
some
sports.
action on there.
Yeah, for sure. It's the live sports broadcasts that tend to
Yeah,
cause the most difficulties. So,
yeah, yeah.
um, so
Let's
pre-match.
talk about let's talk about the lineup
Let's talk about that. Quite a change. We knew that was coming because we had
for sure.
what 36 hours to really recover and get
Hmm.
ready for the next match. So we knew that it was going to be heavily rotated. Some names maybe not necessarily expected. I was a little not maybe not surprised, but Jack getting and Phil getting a full 90. Um,
Yeah,
I was expecting maybe to come off because they haven't really, or at least Phil hasn't put in that kind of that shift yet. But I figured
yeah.
Kyle and Johnny would probably get some run because they haven't played a whole lot yet. Um, and then the biggest surprise was our young lad, the
Hmm.
16-year-old Mr. Braithwaite, getting to start in the back next to Johnny Stones as a left-sided center back. So that was
Hmm.
the biggest surprise I think for me.
Hmm. Same. Same for me. Now, the way that they actually ended up using Caden is a little bit different than what you're describing because if you looked as the match progressed, we were more into that 3-2-4-1 formation.
Facts.
You saw him bump up a little bit here and there, but you mostly saw Kyle Walker moving up to the front and playing that a lot, right? Am I the right match?
No, no, we held possession a good chunk of the match around their 18 again.
Right.
So it was pretty much Johnny was kind of the Diaz role, and then Caden and Kyle were pushing up a little
Right.
higher
That's right. Okay.
um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in that Josh
It's fucked
Stone
up because I literally
role.
just watch it. I should know this. I should know that they were. I don't. I always, because Rico has literally caught the bulk of the starting time this season so far. Like I sometimes forget that Kyle gets thrown in. But whatever. Moving forward.
And Nunez got some burn in there. I was glad. I figured
Shit.
he would get in there. So that was nice to see. And then McAtee getting first start of the season.
Mhm.
So really glad to see all those guys get a good chunk of time because they haven't really seen a lot of the pitch yet, and they need to keep sharp. And I
Mhm.
felt like going into this, I that's what I was hoping to see for pre-match thoughts. I was anticipating a City win, but I was also wanting to see our guys who haven't seen as much of the pitch uh,
Mhm.
come out and look sharp, which
Yeah.
at least for the first 45 minutes, which we'll get into later. The first 45 I thought was great, and they all
Mm.
looked really good. But what I was looking to get out of this match was some match fitness for Phil, for Jack, and then just seeing some sharpness out of the guys who haven't played as much.
Mhm. I think Jack felt really comfortable in this one, especially with preseason. He worked with a lot of the younger kids that were in this
Yeah.
lineup. So you saw a lot of comfortability around the entire pitch for all 11, really, which was nice to see. It kind of felt, especially through the first half, everybody was having fun. And that was one of the things that I said earlier in the day on one of my Instagram posts was, this should be a fun one. Everybody should be having fun, and by God, they did. Uh, it was nice to see the crispness of the short passes in small spaces. It was nice, the little dink and dunks too, little taps here and there, specifically going up to Doku's goal. I mean, that was a perfect example of great buildup going into a goal, and his little back heel tap to redirect and then turn the ball and slam it in was that City ball I want to see on a more consistent basis. The way that we played in the first half, that's what I want to see.
Absolutely. You brought up Doku's goal, so why don't we talk about that a little bit? Early goal inside 5 minutes, which is really good to see. You love to get on the front foot that early, and especially
Mm-hmm.
against teams that you expect to kind of sit back a little bit and play on the counter. Getting an early goal like that kind of forces them, especially in a cup competition, forces
Mm-hmm.
them not to do that because it doesn't matter if you lose 1-0 or 5-0, it's still you're out of the competition. So you kind of have to come out and play at that point. So
Mm-hmm.
getting an early one was really important, and it started with McAtee applying excellent pressure from a really soft goal kick, or not a goal kick, but the keeper played a ball and it was into the middle of the pitch, which is a no right from the get go. And then he
Right.
compounded that by just sending a hospital ball in there, and then McAtee was able to jump on it and got it out to Jack, who then played Doku and hit that lovely touch that you were talking about and knocking the ball in. Wasn't the cleanest of strikes, but as long as it hits the back of the net, that's what we really care about. So, um, really, really great start to the match. I expected that to kind of, at that point, kind of send us on our way a little bit more than we did, considering we only scored two. I thought we would maybe at that point put a few more into the back of the net, but
Oh, there
what
was
I
plenty of attempts wasted in this one. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. And not to sound demeaning towards the club, but I mean, as good as it looked, there were conversely as many, not, I won't say bad, just missed opportunities that we could have scored. I mean, this is one of those matches where, and kind of running off a little bit what you said, this is one of those matches where we should have put the fucking pedal to the goddamn metal. There was
Mhm.
no reason for us not to stomp the absolute shit out of Watford. And that's
Yep.
not me being pretentious. That's just what it is. You could clearly see the difference between the sides. And let's be real, this side that we had going into this one, this was like our C squad. If you even a D squad, if you really want to break it down, and kind of use Cade and Brathwaite as the weighting factor in experience, right?
Mhm.
He would have a negative effect in that if you put it on in a mathematical equation. He actually showed out to be a vet. Like he, I won't say veteran, but he definitely
He
showed
looked
himself to
comfortable.
be comfortable in Pep's system. Correct. Um, he didn't look like he was out of place. You said earlier on in the match you were a little bit worried about his speed against what was it? Was it
Uh,
Wah
Ba,
Ba
ba,
Ba
ba.
Ba?
He had got him on a couple of runs early
He
on,
did,
but
but I mean, on the whole, I kind of feel like pre that he wasn't quite up to pace for him. But like I said to you, when we were texting back and forth during the match, I don't think that this is going to hurt him. I think this is going to help him. I think he's going to realize where he's at in the match, what he has to do in order to keep up pace with said striker Ba. Um, I think he did a fantastic job for being so young. Honestly,
absolutely, he grew into the game for sure. And
yeah,
it wasn't Ba's pace wasn't a problem because Caden doesn't have pace. It was just a he need
missed up.
it was an eyes thing. It was a, oh,
Mhm.
he's a little bit quicker than I realized, and he's a grown man. He's gonna move a little quicker probably than the guys I'm used to
Right.
marking, and a little bit more intelligent with their soccer IQ. So it was more just getting up to the speed of play, not like a lack of pace from Caden, because he's clearly quick and agile. So
For sure.
one of the things we mentioned too when we were talking about the game that I wanted to bring up was just most of the first half was played in and around their 18. And
Hmm.
we saw that on Sunday against Arsenal, where we struggled mightily because we really didn't have any off ball movement. We didn't have anybody dropping into the little pockets of space in between lines. But yesterday against Watford, it was so much better in the first half, I'll say, with off ball movement and quicker decisions on the ball. We saw uh, players like Jack, McAtee, Rico even were playing balls and splitting the lines to get people to run and having runners going behind uh, the two banks of five, pretty much that they were
Hmm.
running out there. So it was nice to see that they recognized what they didn't do well against Arsenal, and then knowing they were going to have to break down another low block again, um, implement some changes and
Hmm.
just a little bit of different style of player in there because um, with Phil and Jack, McAtee all kind of in the middle spaces and occupying that areas, you kind of
Hmm.
saw a little bit more flexibility with where people were playing, which made it harder for Watford to pick up where their marks and who was covering who. So it was
Hmm.
much better football. I felt like in the first half. One of the things you kind of mentioned and had a question I thought was a good one. Um, Seeing the difference between the two games with how well the smaller lineup pretty much played against uh, a low block. You asked, you know, are we too big at times with Holland up
Hmm.
front and some of our bigger players? Could it be an option when we're doing this to maybe take him off the pitch and just try a different tactic at times? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
What do you think about that?
Well, to elaborate on what I was actually meaning, that's cool that you use that and as kind of the basis of the thought. And I mean, maybe in part that it was, but what I was really getting at is player mentality more than
Okay.
anything. We have a lot of stars. Let's be real. We have a lot of stars on our team, especially when you're talking about in the attack. Erling Haaland is, he wants the ball, and the object of the game right now, as far as we know, is feed him the ball. I feel like when you have Jack out there, when you have Phil out there, when you have Savio out there, when you have Doku out there, these are all players who want to score goals, right? They want to make contributions, right? Well, they're not getting it with Holland in the middle. So maybe, just maybe, we're a little too big. Maybe there's a too big a presence on the team. There's too many personalities, and this is what has caused this talk of basically, and especially from other team supporters, is that we have no style, we have no flair. We are mechanics only. It's how can we feed Erling the ball? You know what I mean? I think if there's, I think after seeing this against Watford, there is there are so many different dimensions to what we are as a team, and what we can do with the amount of different players that we have, that I feel like we're almost limiting ourselves when we go with these big name rosters. So having James McAtee in, that was I him and Phil complemented each other so well because they're almost the same goddamn player. If you think about it, if you looked at it too, like I had trouble, aside from the numbers being 4-7 and 8-7, like I had trouble at times deciphering on whether that was Phil or if that was James making that play or that run or whatever it may be. Um, I think it's time for some of these younger lads to get more time. And I think maybe this match may have shown that. Let's just hope. But obviously in big games, we're going to want our big players. That's just a given. But we're
Right.
talking about low end competition like this, and that's not to say that Watford wasn't decent for being a championship side. They are. I saw a lot of good things out of them in this match. I wasn't trying to be completely pessimistic towards them, but um, yeah, I think this particular match, this particular lineup, it showed a different dimension that we can use, especially on teams that are maybe a little slower, be the opposite end of pace, and we have all these little shifty moving people, and I just don't see how that can't work out. If Pep doesn't see that, then I mean, Who are we, right? We're just dumb Americans who,
just talking shit on YouTube and X and Rumble to each other. That's all we're doing, right?
What's up, Nick? How you doing, bud?
Thanks for joining us,
Thanks for
bro.
tuning in.
I do think there is something to it, to like, because now that we've had Holland for 2 seasons, people kind of the clubs that think that they're on our level, i.e. the Arsenals, those kind of things. They think they figured out, and they're comfortable with Holland, especially their 2 center backs, Gabriel and Saliba. They like a more physical center forward to go up against. So, as crazy as it might,
you would think that people might think that, but there's more people that don't think that than there are. So, and we've gotten the brunt end of that in the comments. So that's why we just make a joke about the dumb American things. We know what we're talking about. We're taking the piss out of everybody.
have to.
If you can't make fun of yourself, then you're in the wrong business, because you can't take it like a dig. It's not that hard. It's not that deep either.
Where is it?
Yes.
But I think it's worth investigating a little bit more. As crazy as it sounds, like just changing it up from time to time and keeping people guessing, because when they're so used to
that
Holland and balls coming in and what he likes to do, you change it up and you pull him off and you throw a Phil in there, or a McAtee or a Jack as a false 9, and it's like, oh crap, this is totally different from what I was just doing. And they sometimes will throw people off their game a little bit. So it's something to watch. And I do like that Pep ran out the kind of the false 9 to kind of give the guys some more.
Yes.
Because it's been a while since we've had to use it, because we've had Jules and Holland for a long time now. So it's good that
the one season post Aguero.
Yeah,
that was But we, like you were saying, we brought it back today or yesterday, and I was super kind of stoked about it, especially rotating those 3 players in it. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So no, you're good. It looked good, and it shows that if that situation happens, we have that in our bag again. So now other players, coaches, teams are going to have to like prepare against that. Like, hey, City might at some point go this route, so we need to. It's one more thing that they have to prepare for, which makes us all that more dangerous going forward. Which I think it should be a scary fact for most clubs. There was a big decision, referee decision early in the match that went for us. I think it was the right call, but Ba put the ball in the back of the net, and he extended his arm into Koeman and knocked him over.
Yes.
At first, it was like, okay, that might be shoulder to shoulder. Then they showed the replay, and you could clearly see a full-on arm extension, and he wasn't playing the ball at that point. So it was clearly a foul. So it was the right call.
Wrong football, dude.
So,
hey, Cam, no one cares about your team in here.
We're going to get to you in a bit here.
Yeah, we'll get to you in a little bit. You're not our friend. You're not a friend up until that. After that, you know what I mean? Sorry.
Thank you for joining us, Cam, though.
Thanks for joining us, Cam. Thanks for being here and hanging out with us. Do you know how much fun it would be, honestly, to sit down with him and his brother and watch a match and watch them bitch each other out? Oh, I would honestly, I think I would just sit down just to watch that, because that rival, that feud, especially with, our past at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it's not been the best. But it's not been
great. For sure. That is for sure. Another big moment in the match. Nunez, our boy, we've been talking him up, just looking for an opportunity and a chance. And he, Enrico, and James McAtee had an absolute peach of a build-up.
Yes. Yes.
And then Nunez getting on his off foot and slotting it home with placement, not trying to just smash it as hard as he could. Because in the past, I think he just gets super eager, so he just tries to kill it, and it flies over the crossbar a lot.
But I agree with that.
One, he was like, "Nope, I'm gonna go clinical here, and I'm just gonna slot it into the far post with my left where the keeper can't reach it." But the build
Mm,
up and the little 1-2s between Magati, Rico, and then ultimately with Mateus was an absolute thing of beauty, and it was it was so good to see him get his first City goal, and at a time where we need all of our midfielders to step their game up with Rodri being out for the foreseeable future. So having him in form, playing really well, and scoring a goal could do nothing but build his confidence. So I'm excited to see that from Mateus.
for sure. Well, and now that Rodri is out, like you said, there is a massive opening at the sixth role. And a lot of people are speculating on the fact that we might go dip our toes into the transfer pool in the winter. Um, yeah, Joe, your mic is a little bit low. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks,
I thought
Nick.
I thought it was just me, and I was just like, it's just probably my headphones, and I have them really
No,
low.
I probably bumped my volume a little bit. Nope,
Oh,
it's
gravy,
almost set.
baby.
We'll turn it up a little bit.
What was
Thanks,
I
bro.
saying? What was I saying?
Uh, the six roll, and
Oh,
people
the sixth role. Yeah.
thinking we
So
might dip into
the
the
transfer pool
transfer
in the winter.
window.
So I don't. I just don't see that as a viable option right now because the way that Nunes has played. Granted, he's been playing the wing more so than he's been playing midfield. When he's been on for us, but he's a potential. We still got Gundo. We still got Kova. We still got Stones. All can fit that role for the rest of the season and improve in it if need be. I have faith enough in these players, especially our veterans, to be able to take up the position and do, basically Pep's will, but, you know, be able to be contributors even from that position. Because, I mean, let's be real, Rico is the set point for how we get things going and how we get built up moving, especially when we go down into their end. I mean, he's like Allen Iverson, if you ask me. Top
his
notch point
his
guard.
his value at this point has just skyrocketed with
Yeah.
how important he's going to be for us going forward with his ability to play in so many different positions and
Hmm.
his flexibility. So he is going to play such an important role the rest of this season going forward. And I'm with you. I don't think there's a need at this point, um, especially right now, to really dip into the window come January. We have
Hmm.
3 months until then. Let's see what we got and who we have on the squad already, and
Yeah.
see what Pep can come up with in mixing and matching these players. And if maybe we pick up another injury, knock on wood, that doesn't happen in the midfield, maybe at that point then we look into to finding someone. But give the boys that we have on the bench right now that aren't getting a lot of minutes, give them the first crack at it for the next 3 months, see how they do. And if they step up and rise to the challenge, then we're in business and we don't need to worry about that. And we can
Mm.
keep on trucking because
Agreed.
I think that's where we're at with that. Halftime, old
Yep.
Dokes scored and came off to give himself a nice 45, and then allowed Savinho to come in and get a nice cameo of 45 minutes too. Um, what noticed more about him, versus Doku, because I was kind of keeping an eye on Doku in the first half, and then the second half with Savino. Sometimes Jeremy, I guess he's trying to like set guys up a little bit more with some patience when he has the ball, where he's like
Hmm.
waiting and waiting, and he almost is trying to get the defender to make the first move
Yep.
and then counter what they do. Savinho
Hmm.
is the opposite of that from what I was noticing. He's as soon as the first touch after he receives it is straight at a defender, and he's trying to get somebody.
Hmm.
He's going forward and he's driving at somebody to make it more difficult for them.
Well,
So
Dokes did that a little bit through the first half, especially when he was trying to get deeper into the box. I mean, he definitely was going direct on players and forcing them back to the 6 yard box and making it a problem and creating space even more so centrally to pass over if the lane was there to do so. So I mean, yes and no. I see your point there, but so for me, I see Savio. He runs to the byline a lot faster than he is more so over the fact that he's direct. This one was a little bit different. he did play a little bit different ball in this one, which I appreciated a lot. Because honestly, it's getting predictable the way that we work down to the byline on the wings and then try to cross it in. Everybody knows it's coming. So as soon as he shifts to the right or shifts to the left, depending on what side of the pitch he's on, that a ball is getting crossed in the middle. You can probably count on Erling Haaland, if not somebody big in the middle, waiting for that ball to come in. Yeah, the predictability. I'm done with it. I know that's probably a hot take, but
No, that happens too. Even if he doesn't put the ball in, we know exactly what's going to happen next. We're going to recycle it back out, and then it's the same pattern. So I like when we show a little bit more creativity, which is
sure.
crazy to think about when we have players like Phil Foden, Savinho, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva on the like. You think there's a lot of creativity and smart players there, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it definitely feels like we're a little bit too rigid in our attack, where it's and other teams are smart. They have good coaches
Yeah.
that are watching what we do and then relaying that information to their players. So having games like this where we're a little bit more dynamic with our movements, with
Mm-hmm.
the patterns of play, the pattern in the build up and the passing patterns, nothing but good things there when we see that happen, because it, like we said earlier, it makes it a little more difficult on opponents who are preparing for us.
Mm-hmm.
So
I found it funny too that like Watford was trying to play compact. If they were truly playing compact, we wouldn't have got as many small little passes through the box or in small space through the box. Um, where was I going to go with that? I don't really remember. Um, oh yeah, them trying to play compact. If we can capitalize on taking what we've done in the Watford match and use it against Premier League sides or even in Champions League play, especially because every team literally that's what they do. They low block, they get super compact, making it incredibly hard for us to break through the line and even get close to the box, forcing us to play in from the wing. Um, if we can finagle how we did what we did against Watford, going into a bigger side, we will be unstoppable. It's just as simple as that. And it's not me trying to wear the fucking blue goggles right now, but it's just if we can create that extra dimension, that extra layer of play, and be able to be a 3, 4, even 5 dimensional type team, we got this again this season.
yeah, Nick brought up a good point. There was a lot of
Yep.
wasted 1v1
Oh,
opportunities,
100%.
especially in the 63rd minute. I think we had 4 shots on goal in a very short
In
period of
literally
time,
a minute period.
and we couldn't get into the back of the net. So that particular sequence, I'm sure, was very frustrating for the players. But what you do like to see in that situation, though, is what we talked about last time, and what Colby has been harping on throughout our shows, is they were attempting to clean up the trash. They were in there,
Yep.
they were crashing, they were putting balls on frame, but just sometimes the defender's in the right place. You hit the
Mm-hmm.
post, somebody makes a miraculous header, or you happen to hit the ball right at somebody who's on the goal line as a defender, and it hits their head. So it's like,
Yeah.
but what you like to see though is the effort was being made. They were working hard in the box, trying to scoop up the trash and put it away, but
Mm-hmm.
just kind of unlucky there. So
Yeah. Um, let's see. What did I write in here? The tide swung after half, in my opinion. It was Watford picked us apart. They kind of saw what our game plan was. Um, I have also been harping on the fact that we have had very tough time for as long as I've been watching City with putting the pedal down and flooring it until the end. If, from my perspective, the second half felt as if we got complacent. which we seemingly tend to do when we get up, um, which I'm not a fan of. Never, it doesn't matter what sport you're in. I don't like this. Oh, we're up 2-0. We can lay back. They're running the low block and they're running the counter on a high press. Let's just do this. No, dude, play both sides. It's not me. It's not me. It's not me rooting or ragging on our side or their side. It's both sides. But in this one, Watford did play their asses off. They said no, we're not letting City out of here with nothing or with all of it and none of it for us. We're gonna get something back, and us conceding that goal. I mean, that's a little bit later on, but
Well, let's talk about that. I mean,
it's just
there wasn't a lot that happened in between there besides Watford
oh,
playing a lot better
oh,
than we than we were for that complacency reason. And a 2-0 lead is the worst one you could possibly have because you feel a little comfortable, and then as soon as you get a little bit of comfortability going again, and you switch off, which we tend to do, um, you get burned. And Ince did that in the 86th minute and was able to pull one back. Um, really, that the last 10-15 minutes was a prime example of just how not to finish a game. The game
mhm,
management from City at that time throughout the last 10-15 minutes was just not great. We weren't keeping it. We weren't looking to take our time on throws, on kicks. We weren't trying to get it down into the corners and waste time
mhm,
that way. In a proper gamesmanship way, not like how Arsenal did on Sunday. Um, but it was not a great last 10-15 minutes of the match, and
mhm.
really the whole second half was we had a couple of moments of brilliance, but overall I think you got to credit Watford for not giving up, for
No, yep.
playing and coming out and saying, you know what, we could just park the bus and say, hey, we're going to lose 2-0 and save face, but they didn't do that. They came out and they continued to play and were
Mhm.
aggressive, and they earned themselves at least a goal, a consolation goal. It didn't, but it made the last 10 minutes a lot more interesting. That's for sure.
That's to say the least.
Yeah.
5 extra minutes too. I didn't really understand the 5 extra minutes in this one. I didn't really feel like it was necessary. That's not to say that there wasn't. I just don't remember there being a lot of calls in the second half to necessitate 5 extra minutes. Uh,
One
a
goal and a
goal,
few
a
substitutions.
goal is 1 minute and a couple of substitutions, 30 seconds apiece, right? I don't know that 5 minutes was constituted. Um, so we got Ryan. What's up, Stu? What's up, bro? Good to see you,
Salute.
bud. Um, yeah, 5 extra minutes wasted. I mean, it was just a waste of time. It really was. It was just going through the motions, making sure that we're holding the lead. Um, thank God we did. I mean, this easily could have been a draw.
And the
Um,
last thing anybody wanted was to go to fucking penalties at that point.
no,
No, thank you.
no,
At
no.
least it's
This like
direct to penalties and not an extra 30 minutes, but nobody wants to go to penalties.
no. It in this level of this competition, like I really don't know. No, there's a lot more that we've got ahead of us that I would rather be getting my ass off the pitch and resting to
Hmm.
go up against. Than no, thank you.
Pass
Um,
on that. Who? Give me somebody that you felt played well and stood out for you.
man, the whole Jesus Christ, the whole attack in the first half was um just brilliant, just brilliant. I really loved seeing the off-ball motion or movements from James McAtee. He was engaged. Not only that, but his attempts to getting in. Um, Doku, he really shined for me today. He looked comfortable. He looked like he was putting everything on his shoulders. Same with Jack.
Hmm.
Um, he was putting everything. Jack looked very, very clinical. The veteran presence was there, if you will. Um, and we really needed that. And like I said earlier on, going back to preseason, I felt he was so much more comfortable working with the younger lads than he is working with the senior players. I don't know if that's a superiority complex, if you will, of having been up in the first team for so long. So it's like, all the boys are kind of relying on you to be the rally captain, if you will. Um, I saw a lot of maturity in him today. I saw a lot of veteran presence, something that I absolutely adore in any player is somebody who can just put it on their back and say, "Follow me, guys." Um, Savio looked good when he came in. He's far and away one of the best year one signings I have ever seen
And at 20 years old, we'll
at
keep
20.
harping on that. The dude is 20
Yeah,
and
but he
looks that good already. It's
exactly.
crazy. That kid is so smooth and silky. I cannot wait to
Mhm.
see what the future holds for that dude.
I don't think I don't think a lot of people saw Nico O'Reilly getting in on this one. There was a comment made on X yesterday. I didn't understand how to take it. um, but not gonna lie, I didn't know who he was when we signed him. Signed who? Savia?
I straightened him out pretty quickly though, so don't worry.
Okay, cool.
We know who he is
uh,
now, that's for sure.
yeah,
Jesus. I
yeah,
think McAtee for me definitely stood
McAtee.
out. He looked so comfortable, and maybe it's because he's used to the playing against the championship caliber players, so it didn't feel like bigger than him. He felt
Mm-hmm,
like this is like right in my wheelhouse because he played so well last season in the championship uh, that this was more of a his speed, which I think was a great opportunity to get him some confidence to build on
mm-hmm.
going forward because we're going to need him uh, in the midfield rotation soon. So I thought he did really well. I thought John Stones was very assured as really uh, the last line of defense because he was in that Ruben Diaz role where he was
Mm.
kind of the furthest one back at times. And the way we play, you're
In
like
the
one on
first
one.
half, yes.
Yeah, you were the
The
one on
second
one.
half, that motherfucker was up front a lot, and
Correct.
that scared me. I'm not gonna lie, that scared me.
So I thought he did well and played more assured than I and that I more assured than I have seen him recently for us at least because over the summer he looked great for England and then the break was needed to rest, but that kind of he lost a little bit of the sharpness I think when he first came back
Facts.
to join us. But he
I did
again,
it to
like you
all the
said,
players who didn't
yeah,
get regular
really
first team
everybody.
time on the international break or
Phil's
during the summer
still
for
working
Euros.
his way back because
Yeah,
he didn't look real great yesterday either. He was one of the ones that I had as could have played a little bit better, which was Phil.
I don't think that he was fully present, to be honest. I think that whole "I'm a senior player" thing kind of almost got to his head, and he was putting too much pressure on himself. And that's just my analytic of what I saw. Where the rest of the team, like you're saying, John Stones, Jack Grealish, most of the senior players that were on, like it was like they all could breathe. I think maybe that could be a way of saying it. It was I'm not being overshadowed by the person next to me, and I can stretch my legs a little bit and be me and be my
Hmm.
type of play. You know what I mean? Again, this is an option to think on when we're talking about being multi-dimensional and not being a one or two dimensional team when we go up against, especially in the Premier League or Champions League. I mean, the FA Cup, yeah, it's coming up. I don't think Pep gives that much of a shit about this particular League Cup. Um, I don't know how much we're gonna try in the coming rounds, especially with the amount of games that we have this season. I think it's going to be close to a repeat of last season, where we might go into Tottenham Stadium and be like, "You guys can have this
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I 1000% agree with Pep where he said we are not going to waste energy on the Carabao Cup at this point. We have other things to worry about. We've won it enough. I don't really give a shit about
one."
this competition anymore, to
No.
be frank. Um, at the benefit of staying in a little bit longer is at this point is just to get the younger guys
Repetition.
and they get the younger guys some extra minutes where they normally wouldn't against some higher level competition. If you're pulling them up from like the EDS squads, that's
Yeah.
really the only benefit at this point. But you pull them up and they go through a practice with the first teamers. That's just as good as playing in a match against a championship or League Two side. I wish we could. Ryan, you are bang on.
Right.
Kind of like the MLS clubs did with the USL or the US Cup or
Right.
US Open Cup or whatever, where they were like, we're opting out and we're just going to send our MLS next clubs to do this. So
So this is maybe what we should do with this, with the beginning rounds of the FA and this particular League Cup. Maybe we should just give it to the young players and not give a shit if we go far. That way, it just gives them the repetition, right?
mm-hmm.
And maybe something happens out of it. And at the very least, the very worst, in my opinion, is what you're doing is you're giving, like we said, giving these people playing time, but also you're building their value, especially if they win. So now you've just created a money piece for you. And I hate to be a businessman when I'm talking about our players, but like, why not create more value in them by doing that? I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
So I'm happy we won. I'm glad that we beat a lower level comp team. We're moving on 2-1, but overall feelings about the result, it's good.
Thanks for the W. Thanks for not making my midweek shit. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, exactly. And Nick, exactly. We won it 4 times in a row. We're good.
Yeah,
we're good
yeah.
here.
Exactly. We won 4, which is the most out of what any other coach has done. So, again, he probably just doesn't care, and that's cool. Like, one less competition, that means less games. I mean, at this point, it's what we're going into the 5th round. Then you go into quarters, semis, finals. You only got 4 or 5 matches. If that's 4 or 5 matches we don't have to play, I'll take it.
Especially with the added 2 of the Champions League that we have to play now, and the very long extended summer that they're about to have in the summer of 2025 when they're over here in the for the FIFA Club World Cup. It's going to be a long grind. So if we can save the legs for several of those matches, no big deal. No big deal.
Speaking of Club World Cup, there is apparently a fake scalper retailer guy out there that is selling Club World Cup tickets already. So be on the lookout if you get anything in your emails or anything like that trying to get you to buy from them. Be wary, because it may not be what you think. Yeah, public service announcement. I don't have full specs on that entire statement. I probably should have done that before we got on, but I will try to find that before we come back on Sunday to make sure that I give everybody the top heads up. When's the finals? March.
It's usually in like March, April. So
we don't need it at that period of time because that's when we're really starting to stretch our legs and go into that business end. Like, don't need it.
We don't need we don't need any. And when that happens, it tends to have to reschedule a Premier League match to accommodate for that on a weekend down in London. So,
which ends up pushing the season out a little bit,
or congested at the end. And we're going to be fighting, more than likely fighting to the end with some of these other clubs for the title, and we need fresh legs at that point and not playing extra Premier League games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So,
big facts.
Good time.
Let's go to break. We'll be back here in 30 seconds. When we get back, we'll be talking some City news. We're talking Rodri. We're talking about the draw to Tottenham. And then, of course, we'll be doing Who's That Baller and talking a little bit of Bro Talk. We actually have a fantastic weekend coming up, so we're really excited to talk about that with you guys. We'll be back here in 30 seconds. Sorry. Oh man, gonna probably leave before. Who's that baller? My self esteem is okay so far today. I'll keep it.
Well, there,
Love you, Stu.
well, there's not a lot of city news to talk about, so we might get
Yeah,
there a little quicker than
rather
usual.
quickly.
Yeah, so the big piece that came out was we know for sure that Rodri is out for a while. Most recent news was the club put out a statement that he had a ligament injury. There was
ACL.
no confirmation that whether it was a torn, burst, whatever terminology you wanted to use. So people took some liberties with that to say, well, maybe it's not as bad as it first feared, and maybe the timeline could be different depending on the terminology that they use. He's going to be out for the rest of the season, folks. Just because he's going to Barcelona to get a second
Oh,
opinion,
right.
like that's standard protocol for city players. Like
Let's not give ourselves false hope over
yes,
nothing.
yes, he's going to be out for the remainder of the season, and he needs that. We are not going to say, oh, maybe he could be back in 6 months. Let that man
Let
heal
him
up
rest.
properly.
He
Let
needs it.
him rest. He's earned it.
Dude,
Hopefully,
he has put the most amount of minutes on the pitch over the last 2 seasons, literally than any fucking player. If he's hurt, let him have the season. He deserves it. We at this point, everybody needs to realize that we are a club that reloads, not retools. Okay, we have ammunition in the bag. We don't got to go out and buy more. If you understand the analogy, we have players that can fulfill this role. Let's talk about that a little bit.
yeah, absolutely. So clearly, Kovacic is going to be given the keys first. He
Sure.
started the season off as that holding mid in that sixth role when Rodri was working his way back into fitness and returning from the Euros. So I think Kova is obviously first choice. He'll get first crack at it. I do think
Do you
with go ahead.
do you think that with Kova coming in, do you think we're going to see a lot more John Stones now?
Me personally, I hope so. I think we'll see that more when Nathan Ake is back to provide a little
Sure,
bit more at cover in the center back role. Because right now, um, it's
we are
really
skint.
it's Ruben, Manu, and John as the three center backs because Yashko's playing out wide exclusively at this point. That's not to
Hmm.
say he couldn't play there if in a pinch, but we then who we putting on the left? We don't really have an option there. So when Ake gets back, that provides a little more cover at one the left back position for Yashko, but also gives us another body there and would allow Johnny to push forward because he's to me as well as Koba played at the beginning of the season. Johnny's the most like for like replacement for Rodri that we have as
Hmm.
far as size, profile, ball skills, um,
Physicality.
physicality. Exactly. So I hope we see a little bit more of Johnny in that role. But what we saw yesterday was almost like a double, a return to the 3-2-4-1 almost,
Hmm.
with um, Nico and Enrico kind of playing a double holding spot there. So maybe that's a Kova and Gundo. Maybe that's a Kova and John. Maybe we
Hmm.
we see a little bit of that, but um, I think we have more than enough options and flexibility within the squad to cover for him throughout the rest of the season. Personally, I would love to see Johnny get more run in that position because he's proven when healthy and motivated and fit, he can be a difference maker in that position. So that's where I'm at with it.
That's just it right there too. What you said there. Lastly, is Stonesy staying healthy? Suffice it to say, Stonesy is getting old. He is at the ripe age of 30. Injuries have been more prone for him over the last few seasons. Um, I hope that this extra workload does not peak the the injury gods' interest at all because of where we're standing right now with injuries. Um, not having Ake and not having a enough rotation in the back is I think it's going to bite us at least once or twice this season. Um, I think that pushing John forward is your safest bet, especially when we're talking defensively. I don't see Kova as a defensive tool. I don't really see Illy as a defensive tool. Can they do it? Yes, they can. That's not to say that they're not they don't have defensive attributes within their play. It's to say that I don't trust the track back of either one of them as much as I did in years past. And I think John still has it, but he's still susceptible to picking up an injury, overextending himself. So now for me, I'm still asking the question, do we need to dip into the winter transfer pool?
The I think the only reason we do that is if the surgery it gets complicated for Rodri
Mm-hmm.
and the timeline for his return is gets pushed back because right now he would be due back in the summertime to be
Mm-hmm.
fully fit, and that gives him time to work into fitness to begin next season. And if we go out and we splash 60, 70 mil on somebody,
Oh no, we don't need
Roger,
to do all that. We
yeah,
don't. We don't need to do all
that's what
that.
I'm saying. Like, if what people are asking for is that, there's no need to invest that heavily into the position when he's going to be back ready to go next year, and we have
But
options.
but maybe this is the time where we go out and find a signing that we can groom into being his replacement or his backup. We find somebody at a cost of Julian Alvarez or Kanji, like I've
Hmm.
said before, and we bring him in and we groom him and we make him into the next Roger. Because if Pep's going to stay and he wants to keep the system, which I don't think he's going to, I mean, he's been very consistent in kind of refreshing it over every 2-3 years. Um, I think it's probably about that time, though. It is. A lot of people have said it in years past, especially during the summer transfer. We need to look at Rodri's backup. We need to do this. Probably now is the time. And it's. I'm not saying that because he's getting old. He's still very much in his prime. I don't see. But if we're going to continue to be in this many matches a season, we need somebody to fill in his spot because now we have now just reaped what we've sown by putting him in for so many minutes. Granted, there are other mitigating factors as to why he got injured. Um, I just think it's that time. It's that time to start looking.
You can bet that the executives there have already drafted up a short list of players that they are interested in and keeping tabs on. So that is for sure happening behind the scenes. That's just smart business to be ready to go at some point.
I'm gonna go with a very common phrase in Pittsburgh called "the standard is the standard." Unfortunate expectations when you walk into city. Yeah, sorry, Calvin. when you walk into city, there is an expectation now. There is, we'll say, a proverbial marking on the wall that you have to match, or you're not going to sit here and sustain a career here at all. Or you're either going to get shoved out on a loan, or you're not going to be here at all. I think that's okay to have too.
Yes, that's a
It's
good
okay
thing.
to have.
That's why we're so good now, is because
Exactly.
there's expectations and standards of play that you have to meet, or you will not either play, or you will then move on and find a different place to call
I mean,
home for
I
work.
mean, look at United standards. They literally will buy anything.
And then
They
justify
could
it and saying it
listen,
was worth the
listen.
money.
They would be the ones that would find a Lamborghini for an awesome price, only to find out that there's a Honda motor inside of it and not a V12. That's the type of buyers they are. They're looking for the deal. There is no deal. You scout, and you're not scouting. We scout. We know what the fuck what we're looking at, what we need, what we, you know what I mean. That whole franchise is lost. And I called it a franchise. I don't give a flying fuck. That might irritate somebody over there. They're shit. Speaking, since we're on that topic, did you guys see the new Old Trafford?
Dude, it looks like Tupperware.
Okay, yes, yes, it looks like the stadium they have um on the Champions League promo. Does it not?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and do you realize how close they're trying to put that to us?
I didn't see
Mind you
the
guys.
location.
So mind you guys, if you look at the model, you'll know exactly where the fuck it is if you know the city landscape. It's basically right on the south end of downtown, which is only, in my thinking, probably only 20 minutes apart from where we're at. Where they're right now, they're on the west side of Manchester. Chelsea will do the same, but by 40 on them. Zach, where you at, bruv?
Reminder to clip that little section. We'll send that bad boy over to Zachary. 100%.
For sure.
And Jack. Sending it to both of y'all. They had a good day in the Carabao Cup.
They did.
5-0
They did, dude. And Kunku. And
thrashing.
Kunku is finally producing for them. I'm super excited for that because I had been singing his praises when he was back with which Red Bull team was he with?
Leipzig.
Was it Leipzig? Yeah, Leipzig.
I'm happy for it too because he's on my fantasy squad, baby.
Yeah, well,
so
fuck you.
Hey, that's right. We're matching up this weekend, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right. You bitch. Yeah, and by the way, your percentage is already, it's like 67 or 76 to 20, whatever, 24. It's not good. I don't understand.
Dude,
I don't understand.
I've had that percentage almost every matchup that I've had, and 2 of them I've gotten absolutely mollywopped. So
I've gotten that every single match. Because listen, when you go into an 8-person draft and you're number 6, I don't know how, but I feel like that's the worst fucking spot. I got all these good players and none of them are doing shit.
Still a learning curve on how the scoring works and who's good.
Yeah, I really don't understand this. I don't understand the scoring, the scoring table and how things work. There's also, I'm also not paying attention enough. I like going in the comments and seeing everybody talk shit to each other, especially TJ. TJ always says some fucking out of pocket dumb shit, and like for me, it's like that. I like that little urge of wanting to put my hand through the phone. Who's running that shit show? I don't know, man. He's a bellend, whoever that guy is. No. Honestly though, it's so much fun just to read the banter in there and whatever. Like, I literally don't care that I'm 0-4. Literally could give a fuck. I've never given a shit about fantasy. I'm literally only in there for the so-called camaraderie.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing different perspectives of the game. It's really what I love about this is being able to see different perspectives. But yeah, it's just for fun for me. I have no.
Absolutely.
I don't make it serious. TJ always texts me and tells me he's just there for the group chat and trolls.
Yes, it's unfortunate.
Well, then maybe I should be the anti TJ. Maybe if he wants to be Wolverine, I'll be Deadpool. Feel me?
There you go. We need to pull TJ away from the red side and come to the blue side.
Yeah. What? Do you have a friend in North London? Like, how did you get that connection? I need to know.
We'll need to know. So fill us in.
Yeah, we need to know.
Speaking of London, let's talk about 4th round Carabao Cup draw that we picked up going to London Stadium and playing Tottenham once again.
It's not London Stadium.
You know what I meant.
Well, somebody in here might fucking correct you pretty goddamn hard.
Guess what? I don't.
You don't care.
I really don't.
Yo, shout out to all 185 of you guys in here tonight. That's a record for our Wednesday night. So thank you for being in here. Absolutely appreciate it. Make sure that you, I would say, but not appropriate for YouTube.
Rumble's where it's at, bro.
Yeah, you need to go to Rumble then. Stop getting on YouTube. Listen, if you wanna talk some real shit and not get fucking taken off, go join Rumble. Go join Rumble because they don't have time for that bullshit. They're not fucking Nazis like YouTube is.
On the note on the 185 folks we got in here, appreciate
Yeah.
Patrick, true City fan. He's got a
Yes.
great page. He shared us out tonight, and Mr. Bluetone gave us a shout
Pluto,
out
Tony.
and shared it out for us. So thank you both for that. We really appreciate it. That helps our numbers anytime you guys do the whole share and retweet out. So we appreciate that. Please continue doing that.
Yep.
We like that.
We like that a
Um,
lot.
so appreciate both
Yeah.
of you guys for doing that tonight. So we got
So
Tottenham.
yeah, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, North London, going there
Pep
again to
Pep's already
face
said
our.
he's starting the young lads and the guys who might need minutes again. So he is not going to be throwing out a very strong lineup whenever we play them next. So
Well, Tottenham's also not that scary this season. They don't have Harry Kane. They don't have. I mean, Youngman's son is not really heard a lot about him this season, to be honest.
Solanke hasn't really caught up to speed quite
Solanke,
yet.
nope. And I
Madison
think
a
that's
little
still going to
better,
take. I still think that's going to take him a minute.
for sure.
Getting used to that side coming in from. He was with what? Brentford, Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's going to take a minute to get up to that level, that pace that they have going on. What Postecoglou has going on. Now that's another thing. Is Postecoglou going to be there next season because of the way things have been? Like, I like him. That's the issue. Is I like him as a person, and I don't want to see him get sacked at all. But
Mhm.
all in the same, like if you don't move out of this round or get into a European competition this year, you're not going to see Ange Postecoglou
Lev
back in the Premier League.
Levy's got no patience really. So I'd imagine
Zero patience.
that
Well, unless you're
that's
Harry
gonna
Kane, he
yeah
has all the patience to keep your ass, right? Then
facts.
right.
Which I'm glad he did because we would have ended up with him and not
Oh,
Haaland.
I'm
So
so
I'm
glad we
so
didn't.
glad.
So glad we didn't.
So I would expect us to run a very similar type lineup out than we did on last night. And if we win, cool. If we lose, that's probably okay in my book. So
Yep.
I'm not.
Not asked about it at all.
I'm was happy that happened last year, where we kind of went out early and freed up some fixture congestion for us. So I'll be very okay if this happens again. So
when does this match even happen?
I'm not sure. I didn't even look, to be honest with you. I've
I
been
didn't look either.
running around all afternoon.
Not important. It's probably a month out or more. Right.
And yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Soonish, I would imagine.
Yeah. No. Right? No, because I mean October we got 2 weeks off, and then we come back to Champions League. Well, we don't come back to Champions League, we come back to Premier League play and then Champions League following. I don't think we're going to see that again until November.
Round 4 is we have this thing called Google.
Right.
Computers that we could just do a
We don't
quick
have to
search.
guess.
I believe it's the end of October.
They're going to shove that one in there hard then, huh?
Round 4, 30th of October. So, yeah, they're going to try to squeeze it in right before Old Halloween.
Good old shit nighted. Ten Hag is the luckiest manager, finishing 8th in the league and knocked out of the Champions League group stage last season, still managing United this season. Yep. Well, unfortunately unfortunately to their dissatisfaction, there isn't a big coaching pool out there for them to pull from. Everybody is slated somewhere, and there are certain coaches that have principles that will not go to that club and give them their time, rightfully so. Yeah,
rumor
he is
mill I saw in that
he is a lucky bastard, isn't he? Though
the rumor mill piece that I saw on that was Gareth Southgate's continuing to hold out hope that
oh, because that's gonna pan out well. Okay,
I'm okay with that. Let's do that.
yeah, I mean, I am too, but like, it's only going to make for good content for us later, and to watch fucking Goldbridge fucking run his flappers. Oh my god, that guy, you're a cop, and you are like, I honestly, I want to. Maybe we can do this for him. We can get like people in the community to help us with this gift, and we get him a giant sash that's red and black, or like red and yellow, and it just says Hall Monitor in front of it, or on the front of it.
I like this idea.
I think it'd be fucking hilarious. And there would have to be a stipulation that goes along with it. If United doesn't finish in the top 6, he has to wear it every single episode next season.
There you go.
He won't go for it, but
of course not, because he's a
worth the try.
This is true. How about we do some Who's That Baller, man?
You ready for it?
I'm
All right,
ready.
Let's make sure the comments are ready for it. Comments, are you ready to play? Huh? You ready to play? All right.
We got some new faces, so why don't you explain the rules again?
So for everybody that's in here, Who's That Baller? It's a very simple game. What I'll do is I will flash up a silhouette of a player. You will get 30 seconds to answer in the comments as to who you think it is. Joe is also playing along every week. He's kind of the lead guest, if you will. But typically I put up about 4 of them. I went to 5 as a wild card to try to help everybody out. Usually our wild card is not a real player. Rounds 1 through 4 is a real player. It's typically a city player. The added rounds are typically somebody off key or somebody who is not exactly a real person. So a fictional character from a show, a book, a movie, whatever it may be. So yeah, that's how we play the game. We might do prizes later if people really get involved into it and really get into it. We can maybe even bring in guests during this time if they would like to play, and that's when we would probably give out prizes if you win the whole thing, whatever it may be. But anyways, I'm just long winning this. Let's get in the first round.
Let's
you ready?
Do it.
Is it gonna work? There we go. Does anybody know who that is? It's a very famous moment for City and this particular player.
It looks like that player's barefoot in this particular silhouette.
Yeah, it does. Where's your boots, bruv?
Right, that's what I'm saying. I can see the bump out of his shin guards, but it looks like he's got no boots on.
All right, I'm going to give everybody 10 seconds. It's been up here for a minute. 10 seconds to make your choice. Let's see. Nick says Dino. That's a good guess. That's a good guess. Joe, what's your answer?
I'm going EH.
Erling Haaland?
C.
Erling Haaland. Wow. Those are good guesses. I'll take it. You're going to be really asked when you see who it is, though. Shit. I didn't press the pause button. Whoops. Whoopsie daisies. You ready for this? Oh.
I knew it was
gotcha.
I knew it was a taller person.
Gotcha.
Fuck.
All right.
It was like when Erling does that celebration.
Right. All right.
Mario.
Everybody ready for round 2? What?
Mario Balotelli.
So my kid, and the reason why I put that up there this week is my kid specifically asked me to make him a store on Bonfire so he could have a Why Always Me shirt. So yeah, he's apparently gonna, as soon as he gets one, he's gonna wear it during a game, and when he scores, he's gonna
lift his shirt up.
Oh yeah. last weekend he scored a hat trick, and on the third goal he went midfield and did the fill, but he went double knee instead of one knee and almost fucking face planted. It was hilarious.
Yes.
Sorry, Aiden, if you're watching this. I love you, but
Put
it
you on
was so
blast, homie.
funny. we're gonna sharpen that celly up a little bit more. All right, round 2. Whoop. All right, so I'm gonna give hints. Why always me? Yep, I'm gonna give hints. A lot of quite a few of these. Actually, there's only one current player that I have in the game this week. So this particular player, he was a fan favorite for a lot of people and made an unexpected move out of nowhere. Joe, do you know who it is?
I'm tending to lean towards what Ryan and Nick said.
Is that your final answer, y'all? I don't know why when I move away from the picture, it won't let me press the pause button or the play button again. So I'm gonna have to do one of these numbers. Bingo El Ringo.
Leroy.
Leroy.
Love when he was here. God, him and Sterling and Aguero as a front three was
Fun.
absolutely
Fun.
devastating for people. It was a shit show for defenses.
No. Damn it. Damn it, man. Why did he have to move on? Fire kit.
He
Yes, it
he
was.
he was homesick. He wanted to move back to Germany, but he may be happier in his personal life, but career-wise, I think it was not the best move for him.
I
Unfortunately,
still don't think that he's 100% happy at Bayern either. Like, I feel like there's still little inklings of him saying, "Damn it, I should have stayed at City. Damn
maybe
it, I
his
should have
missus
stayed."
was saying, "I want to move back to Germany."
I'm sorry. Maybe for somebody over there, and then I'm sure there might be a lot of them in the comments tonight. Would you rather live in England or would you rather live in Germany in their social constructs? Tell me which one you would choose in the comments. While that's answered, let's go on to number 3. Again, another legend for City. He. If I say that, then it's going to give it away.
I think shape head of head. I got this one. I think.
You think so?
I think so.
All right. God bless it. Here we go again. You handle the comments, by the way. Because every time I click over the comments, it won't let me play the fucking video. All right.
We
So
got
let's get guesses.
One's got Pep. Nick has
Okay.
Pep. Stu Chains has Vinny Company, and I am leaning heavily towards what Ryan said. That was my thought too. Was here's to you, Vincent Company, Captain
Is that your all's
Fantastic.
final answer?
That is my final answer for sure.
It's gonna be disappointing when you see that it's Pablo.
That head shape threw me off the whole show. The little top of the leg, that right era, right to position, just wrong defender.
Oh man, I actually had
I
fun with
have
that one
Pablo's
because
signature. God damn it!
right.
I have both
I,
of
I
their
really,
signatures.
I picked this one thinking of you because if everybody doesn't know, Joe and I, the first time we met was the preseason match at Lambeau Field against Bayern, and the players that were with the, I want to call it the traveling circus for City, that were there basically on tour with everybody was Pablo and Jillian, and I figured me putting that in there, you'd like that's Zaba. Damn it. Part of me, like, there's the duality of this. There's the part of me that really wants you to get it, and then there's the other part of me that's like, haha,
I got you, bitch.
got you, bitch. All right, let's go on to round 4. All right, everybody. Current.
At the risk of sounding redundant and be wrong again, I'm pretty confident in who this one is.
Okay. Let me know
And
whenever we get some answers on the screen.
I disagree with the comments currently. Ryan and Nick both said Johnny Stones.
Johnny Stones? You know what? I can honestly see that being Johnny Stones. I really could. Hold on. It
And
did to me again. God bless it.
they just want to get a quick peek of our faces while we're behind the screen. That's all.
Right?
Seeing if we're making a funny. That's exactly who I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
The ears,
Savio.
fellas. The ears.
Yeah. Well, and there's also here's the other thing that I make mention to. That and the hair, right? I guess maybe for me, because I had a mother who cut hair growing up, I can tell somebody, I can tell who somebody is by their haircut. Like, even if they're standing with their back to me, I'm like, I know who that is. I can tell by the back of their head. It's weird, but it is what it is. That's yeah. I can tell by his hair and the whole arm sticking out thing in the pictures. I think maybe because I've looked at those pictures so much, it's like ingrained into my head now. But all right, wild card round. So what? Hold on. What's the score right now? What's the score? Are you 2-2? Two, 4?
We got Sane and Savino.
Right. All right. So we're 2 for 4 right now. All right. And we're gonna go on the wild card round, see if he can go. Now remember, everybody, these are fictional characters, and they all have roots to the game. So, first one. This is a little difficult just because of the shape. But if you understand that, like right here, I don't know, nobody can see my mouse probably.
This is correct. I can't even see your mouse.
Right. If you notice, connected to the pointing finger, it actually resembles a street cone. Now, if you can remember a movie where somebody yells through a street cone that is footy related, you will get this.
Oh, that is a street cone. I was thinking it was a clipboard. Street cone, I see it now, though.
You got any answers in the comments?
None as of yet.
Okay. We have any shit talkers in there? I see 9 comments, and I'm
no. It's all
okay. All right.
I don't know the name of the person, but maybe
can you give me the movie?
Ladybugs? Is it Ladybugs?
Close.
Or Kicking and Screaming?
Okay.
Is it Ditka? No,
I
was pretty certain it was one of those 2 movies. I got the
after 3 after 3 carafes of coffee.
Right? As much as I love that movie, I would not have been able to pull his actual name.
I would have just taken Will Ferrell, but I'm gonna give you half a point on that since you got the movie right. All right, so we are 2.5 of 5. So he's
juice box.
He's 50% on this, guys. Let's see if we can get him with the last one and knock him off. But also remember, guys, participate. It's not that hard. There's 200 in here. There are 200 people in here. Why is there not 200 responses? Wild. Anyways, because most of you are on X. That's why I can't see you. Anyways,
a little harder to comment that way unless you like click through X. You can watch on X and be like seeing that you're watching, but to like jump in and comment, it's a little more difficult.
Nope. Got to switch on over to YouTube or Rumble. I suggest Rumble, but that's just me. All right, let's get into the redemption round. Again, another fictional character. I'm gonna drop some hints on this one too because I'm not sure everyone will get it. But here we go. This particular character, one of his more famous characters, he is a motorcycle riding gang member. In this particular movie, his counterpart, played by a character whom featured in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, was set up. That is He was set up by his roommate at Harvard. He had a bunch of cocaine in his little locker in his dorm room and got in trouble and had to go across the pond. Do you know who this character is? Nick said Nick Cage. One more time.
I want to say that that's Elijah Wood from Green Street Hooligans.
Is that who you think it is?
That's the best guess I got right now. The silhouette's not giving a whole lot.
Well, if you listen to what I said, if you listen to what I said, then you would know that I've already referenced that character, and that he is not the answer.
Well, that's the best I got.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Listen. This movie is in part why I love this game, and what I probably should have started watching when I found this movie out. But you are right on one part of the answer, so I'm going to give you a half a point. Okay, Ryan, you are correct, sir. We'll wait till it gets there. Sorry. Yes, it is. It is Pete Dunham from the Green Street Hooligans. Well done, Ryan. I'm Joe. Hold on, I'm trying to get out of this. Joe, what the fuck, man?
What?
Yank
We're gonna
Journo.
do a game where I get to know all the answers and then make fun of you for not knowing them.
he said, you said counterpart was in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Yank Journo. No, anti-Journo. I don't like journos. Fuck journos. Fucking wankers.
Big facts.
That was a fun one. That was a fun one, guys. We're gonna do that every week for the most part. If you have any like suggestions you would want to see in there, like maybe some deep cuts for the comments section that you'd like to see in the game, go ahead and send us a DM, or you can get in our email and send over a pic and a funny story behind it and give the reason why, and we'll throw it in there. And I'll even credit the person who sent it. How about that?
Boom.
Boom.
Shout out. We give credit for others' work here. We're not just stealing credit for other people's ideas up in this bitch.
Right. So Joe and I have got a fun little weekend together. As most of you guys know who are in here on a regular basis, both of our kids play. One of our kids plays for a rival satellite club. Yeah, Joe. Fucking traitor over here. Our kids' clubs actually play against each other. Now, granted, he has girls, I have a boy, so they're not exactly playing each other, but they're playing each other. So this is actually the first time in life for me, at least, and I don't know about for Joe, that I'm getting to go hang out with a friend and watch my kid play and his kid play. I'm pretty excited about this.
The schedule gods totally aligned, because when Colby sent me Aiden's schedule, I looked on there and saw that he was playing at Liverpool's home field at 1:30 on Saturday. And I was like, hold up, I'm pretty sure Elliot's got a game that same day. Let me make sure it's a home game. And then found out when I checked her schedule that we play literally right after on the same exact field. So the fact that one Colby's son's team got the schedule to be in an away game there at Liverpool, and then it just happened to be on the same day that Elliot had a home game. Just stars aligned perfectly, so we'll get to sit and watch each other's kids play. Super excited.
I find it wild that, yes, Maryland is a relatively small state. He said, you at the Moose, I'll come by.
Yes, it is at the
Moose. Yes, come by.
We'll be hanging out for
hang out
3.5 hours, 4 hours or so on on Saturday afternoon.
Yep. And then Joe's going to tell us where to get the good food in the area.
This is facts.
This is facts. What was I going to say? I find it kind of crazy, right? Like Maryland, for those of you guys don't know over across the pond, Maryland is a relatively small state. Um, it's longer than it is anything. I mean, from east to west. So it's very likely that you wouldn't end up seeing somebody you know, but because of like where we are geographically, I find it nuts that our kids are like I like we're playing against each other in the same state, and we don't even live near each other.
Mm-hmm.
I just find that absolutely nuts. And maybe that's the whole travel soccer thing I'm not used to. I mean, I grew up playing school sports for the most part, rec league at most as a child. Um, and so it's just wild to me that like I'm getting to like go hang out with you while my kids play. Like I said earlier, like just a few minutes ago, I don't know. It boggles my mind because I just never thought that it would happen. You know what I mean? And now
Yep.
that the chances is here in front of us, just like, is this real life?
Yes. That's super exciting.
Also, my kid is playing against a top flight team in Maryland. I'm still having a little trouble wrapping my brain around that, and it's only because Alliance, the club that he plays for, is so small that I don't see them playing a Liverpool FCIA. I just don't do it. I just don't see it.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you send me pictures and little clips of Aiden, but getting to watch him play a full match in person is going to be so much fun. And then
Same thing with Ellie.
I'm stoked for you to get to see her kick some ass on the pitch because she's been just
Dominant.
dominant lately. And
So let everybody know she got a little accolade recently.
yes, if you'll see me share it on my personal social pages here once the club announces it. But Liverpool's academy over here does a monthly one male and one female player of the month across the whole academy, all age groups, so younger kids all the way up to high school age. And we got news on Sunday evening that Ellie got selected by her head coach to be the Liverpool Academy's Girls Player of the Month for Central Maryland. So very big
Awesome.
honor for her. Really excited about that, and she'll get recognized on the socials here pretty soon. And
Good job,
because
LA.
right, so she's plays for her team. She rarely comes out, but she's also playing up and helping out the age group above her too, and playing on the other team as well. So she's helping out pretty much two teams, and to get the recognition for all the hard work she's been putting in is just it really means a lot. So I'm super proud dad moments for this one.
You almost said super duper. Just go with it.
Super neato gang. Super duper.
It was swell.
What? Huh? So we get to be in the same place again.
Alrighty then.
Talking shop, dissecting youth soccer together, and just having a good time. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
a very fun Saturday, hanging out at the Moose.
And you get to meet my dad and my sister.
Right. Family too, little
Family time.
whippersnappers.
Little whippersnappers, yeah.
Yes. So we are very much looking forward to getting some more pictures together, get the families together a little bit, and spending some quality time on Saturday. So can't wait for Thursday and Friday to come and go. At this point, I'm just twiddling my thumbs until Saturday.
Yeah. I'm actually this week couldn't have honestly piled up any better for us too because we got the 7:30 match this week. So at least we can it sucks because we're gonna have to wake up early on a weekend, but like at least we get to watch a match before we go and see our
Yes,
kids play.
we
Because
don't have to watch it later on.
I was really not looking forward to I'm gonna have to watch the replay.
Mm-hmm.
I hate doing that, man. I know you have to live it for most of the time, but
I've
like I
gotten used to it at this point, so it's
fucking can't stand it.
when I first started doing it on a regular basis, it was definitely frustrating. But now that I've had to do it so frequently that it's now become
I've
second nature.
become so numb.
Yes, numb to it because I have to do it so damn often. But not this time. Yeah, we get to wake up early, watch City against Newcastle, one of the toughest away matches we're going to have all season, and then get to spend a bunch of time together. So it's going to be a fun Saturday. Looking forward to watching City in the morning and then hanging out the rest of the day with you.
For sure. All right, guys, hour and 35. We're going to get on out of here. I want to thank everybody, all of our new subscribers, all of our new watchers. Thank you for coming in. Make sure that you subscribe, whether that be through our X page. I see 209 of you, 210. I expect 210 new follows. So everybody go hit that follow or whatever button. Yeah, that one. Also, we don't want to forget all of our loyal people that have been in here week in and week out. We appreciate you. I want to send a special shout out to Tony Quizzer and Ken Tudor. You guys are awesome. We missed you the last couple of weeks. Looking forward to seeing some comments for you guys here soon. And then for everybody else, man, we appreciate you for being here. We know we're the small man on the map right now. We're making our waves as much as we possibly can, especially with our UK brethren. We appreciate all of their help, especially Tone and Patrick tonight. Cannot thank you enough for bringing everybody in here tonight. It's been a absolutely stellar night. If you love our content, do your part. Share it. It's not that hard. Just a button click. If you like what we do, say, hey, I watch this. You guys should watch this too. It helps. It does everything that we need it to do. Again, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you're up to date with all of us on our social medias. Until next week, what should I leave them with, man? You know what? I'm going to let you pick the music tonight.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's got a nice robust list there, so.
It is. Let me see.
Once you get to Ace and down, it's all small clips, though. Just like,
we're going to go. I thought there were some other ones in here.
Yeah, there was. Remember what happened?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Son of a bitch.
We're going to go.
I'll take it. No, not that one. Not that one either. Good night.
Appreciate y'all.